Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Lego Fortnite broke some records this past weekend. We're going to be talking about the day before, the day after the day before, and how that's dead on arrival. And we're also going to talk about Skull and Bones. They had a overview of what the game is over on IGN. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about, if we have time, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the games that we saw. Actually, we probably won't have time to talk about this, but a little bit of, I guess, backlash from the Video Game Awards show or whatever, that people are giving crap about certain things. So if we have time, we'll talk about that at the end. Appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And if you're want to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. And then you get a bunch of different rewards, different emotes. You can also join our Discord. Discord is free for everybody, but for general chat for most of the stuff. And then if you want to go into other avenues in the Discord, you have to be a member. So, what's going on, Travis? What's going on, Eclipse? Dave Rose, Kylo. How's everyone doing? All right, so one of the first things I want to talk about is I've been playing Fortnite. Lego Fortnite this last couple days. It came out, I think, on Thursday, did it not? It came out Thursday morning, I believe. I've been playing it. I'm having actually a pretty good time with it. It needs a little bit more substance to it, but I think I really like what they've done with the actual game itself, as far as giving keys out where you have your own like little server that you can invite other people in. So when you're not online, they can also continuously progress the world. I like that. There's a couple things I don't like about the actual game, as far as when you stack certain things. So let's say I have regular wood, and I have like 10 pieces of wood, and then I have 10 pieces of wood inside my backpack, and if I put it in my backpack, it doesn't automatically combine them to make it a stack of 20. It makes it two separate stacks of 10. You have to like physically pick it up and then put it back into the thing. So there's little things like that are happening in the game that the quality of life needs to fix. But other than that, I'm really enjoying myself. Lego Fortnite launches with more players than every Fortnite Battle Royale mode combined, which is just insane. So it's a massive hit. Every single day since it launched, it had over 2 million, I should say, since it came out. So let's read this first article. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Lego Fortnite launches with more players than every Fortnite Battle Royale combined. So, with 2.3 million concurrent players, Lego Fortnite is already the biggest thing epic in the multiverse. Now, Lego Fortnite is upon us, and it seems that everyone wants to know what it's all about. With 2.3 million concurrent players as of writing, the new survival crafting game is already the biggest thing in Fortnite. The Battle Royale mode Fortnite are split across different subtypes for the standard mode, zero build mode, and ranked version of each. But players count for all modes are available in-game, and third-party trackers like Fortnite.gg. And as of writing this, 4 core Battle Royale modes have combined concurrent players of 1.6 million. Meanwhile, Lego Fortnite has a concurrent player count of 2.3 million right now when the article was written. To put that in perspective, only one game in history on Steam have reached more than 2.3 million concurrent, and that is PUBG. First took the world by storm back in 2018. Now, Fortnite itself only topped 3 million players in total earlier this year. And of course, Fortnite has utterly massive handful of months. Season OG took overall concurrent player record with 6.1 million, and utterly absorbent of 11.6 million were logged in all at once to see the Big Bang event kicked off on Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 1 this past weekend, or at least to sit in the queue while the event went down. 2 more new games, Rocket Racing and Psionic, Fortnite's Festival of Harmonics, are set to launch with Fortnite this week, so I guess it'll soon be much bigger than Epic's Multiverse can get. We'll see how much it can get. I played the racing game. I think the racing game is fun as well. I have not tried the rhythmic music edition. I didn't have time this weekend. But overall, I think this is a massive, massive hit for Epic Games. This is a massive hit, I think, for Lego. Lego, before Fortnite, before Epic Games, Legos has always been good with Telltale. Was it not Telltale? It's TT, but I forget what the. Is it Telltale? No, I forget what the company is, but the people that make the Lego games, the Lego Star Wars games, the Harry Potter games, the Indiana Jones, the Marvel games, they've always been really good, right? And I've never understood after all these years why Lego didn't have a game like Minecraft. Okay. And now Fortnite said, hey, you know what? Why don't we just join forces, take Lego, put it in our world, and make a Fortnite, make Lego Fortnite into Minecraft. And they've done a pretty damn good job. Now, obviously, you can't compare 1-to-1 ratio because Minecraft's been around for 13 years and Lego Fortnite's been around for 4 days. So they have a long way to go to catch up with the things. But the way Epic works and the way they can implement things, they can pull things real fast. I mean, just look at what they've done to Battle Royale when it first came out, when PUBG was out there years before. They came out and all of a sudden just surpassed them with what they were adding to it. And they can, because of the Unreal Engine 5, they can implement things much faster than anybody else can. So it'll be very interesting seeing going forward. This is the base level of Lego Fortnite. It'll be very interesting to see what happens once they put in, I don't know, 6 months now from down the road, what they add for quality of life scenarios for Lego Fortnite. I think they're off to a great start. This has got me interested, and I'm not a big Fortnite. I like Save the World. Never really got into Battle Royale. When it first came out, I played it for about 6 months, 9 months, and then I kind of stopped. Go back every once in a while with skins and whatnot they have. But right now, if it's the Rocket Racing League, if it's that's not what it's called, but the racing card, the rhythm-based thing, and now Lego Fortnite, plus the Battle Royale, plus all the creator things that they can do with the community, they're off to a great starting ground here for the multiverse, and I want to know in 6 months, where does Lego Fortnite go from here? Let me know in the comment section down below. Did you play the Lego Fortnite edition this past weekend? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know in the comment section what you liked or didn't like about it. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Guys still talking about Arkham? Traveler's Tale. Thank you, Kylo. I knew it was TT, but I couldn't remember what the TT stood for. I liked one of my favorite games that they make is I love the new Lego Skywalker Saga. That's a fantastic Lego game. So big, right? So much content in there. So many different chapters and different things that you can go through. Even the old, just the straight up old ones of the Lego Star Wars are great as well. Never played it. Hate Fortnite, but it looks fun. It's good, Super Dave. If you like Minecraft, if you like Ark Survival, if you like any kind of survival type game, give it a shot. I mean, obviously, if you don't like Legos, if you don't like Fortnite, it's not even Fortnite. You know what I mean? It's not Fortnite. It's a standalone game mode, and it's actually really, really good. It's a hell of a start to their survival. Dave Rose says, I hate Fortnite, and I hate Minecraft, so it's a hard pass for me. That's understandable, Rose. I love my survival games. I don't know what it is. I just like something where basically I have, I do what I want. If I want to go explore, if I want to, and that goes with any, it doesn't even have to be a survival game. It could be any open world game, right? Like if I was playing Spider-Man, I would just swing around the city and explore because that's what I can do, right? I wish Lego partnered with Minecraft. Didn't they do something, or is that just a skin that they put into Minecraft? I know there's a mod or skin that you can purchase that makes it look like Legos, but I don't know if there's an official sponsor or team up with Minecraft and Lego. It's because it's mind-numbing fun. I don't know if it's because it's mind-numbing fun, Travis. I like it because I can literally go anywhere. It doesn't matter if I just have a place that's a wide open map, right? Even when I played Marvel's Avengers, even though that's not a wide open map, but the map that you went into was bigger, I like to explore. I just like to go out to the edges, see if I can find some secret, see if I can find something, if it's something like Assassin's Creed. See, I'm kind of over Assassin's Creed because I like exploring, but I don't really like the story anymore, right? So it's not really worth it for me. And then sometimes it's better if there's no story, right? Like Lego Fortnite, there's not really a story. At least yet. Minecraft, there's a story, but not really a story. Like, you can play and beat Minecraft, but that's not what Minecraft is for. You get used to doing stuff, it just becomes second nature, in my opinion. It's definitely a good decompressed game. Any type of game like that. Once Human looks like a Division and Destiny have a baby. Once Human. Which one is that, Behemoth? What's going on, Behemoth? What's going on, Reese? Take me back when Microsoft was still in beta. Microsoft? Minecraft, you mean? I was like, when Microsoft was in beta. The God of War, when they showed it, I was like, ooh. Everyone thought it was a DLC, and when they said, though, when he died in the trailer and was like, no, it's okay, it's part of this, it's part of the scenario, whatever, and I was like, oh, it's a roguelike. It's nice that they're adding it. And it's free, right? Video games in a story medium is a story, is bad. But when it's not good, the game, but as such. You know what's crazy? People who call things like Quantum Dream boring. Video games are a story medium. Here's what I've noticed in the last... I've been watching a couple of different videos across the across YouTube. And because of the Video Game Awards, Travis, I noticed a lot of people... When we talk about video games, there's people that are like purists, right? And I'm not trying to, you know, make fun of anybody in any way, shape, or form. There's people that look at video games as movies and entertainment, right? I fall in between this, right? I like playing games that are games, right? Where you're just playing a game. There's just learning the game. Like playing Mario back in the day wasn't about the story about saving Princess. It was just playing the game, right? There's games like StarCraft and stuff like that. You're just fundamental game stuff. Then there's the medium that you're talking about, where it's a movie. You're playing a character in a film that's 25 hours long, right? That's the God of War, the Last of Us, the Spider-Man type of third person, first person, you know, the Fallout, the Skyrim type of thing, where people are like, those are not games. Those are mediums of you're playing the main character and whatnot, and they don't figure that's the game because there's more cutscenes than gameplay, right? And that's the people that don't like those type of games. They like the indie games. They like the hack and slash, constant action-packed type of stuff. That's what people like, and that's what they classify the purists as a video game. A game like The Last of Us, Tomb Raider, God of War, Horizon, a lot of the PlayStation that are number one right now, people look at that and they go, that's not a video game. That's an interactive movie. Game doesn't start until 5 hours in. That's okay. Got to build a character and world. Yeah, I hate to admit it. I spent a lot of time on Lego Fortnite this weekend. It's too damn addicting. It's very addicting. Even the old games had some great stories mixed in, like OMG, the story of Castlevania was so freaking good. Right, but there's more game than story. You know what I'm saying, Travis? Right, what Rose is saying, right? I don't like Quantum Dreams games. They're boring and just interactive movies that you have no control, right? There's a big, broad spectrum of what video games are. I look at video games as just the medium. Someone wants to tell a story, they can make Meat Boy, or they can make God of War. I care about good story, what matters the most to me. I'm the same way. I went from gameplay to finding other ways. Like, I watch TV shows for good stories. I don't watch it. Some people watch Fast and Furious because they like the action stuff. I watch movies because I want my brain to have immersive stories and telling good stories, good characters, good things, right? Of course, I watch other movies that are just shut your brain off. As you said earlier, you know, just kind of decompress type of games. I watch certain movies that kind of not think too much and decompress my brain and just watch a movie. But it's the same thing. That's what I love about video games. You can play games that are just games, or you can play games that are story-rich games. The older I get, the more I focus towards story than I do gameplay. But I also don't want to play games like I like Spider-Man, right? 1 and Miles Morales. But I don't like games where I'm just kind of like push X, Y, like the Telltale games, right? Choose your own adventure type of stuff. You walk around, then hit X every once in a while. I like those, but I don't love those. I like those because of the story, not because of the gameplay. Some people care about the story, and some people watched Obi-Wan. The Telltale games, you can't do those, Super Dave. Yeah, I get kind of. It's gotta be a good story, right? And the reason the Walking Dead was a good story is because you're interested in like you know, zombie type of stuff. We'll get to the day before in just a second. I got 2 articles from the day before. One's talking about the new day before discovery has players even more disappointed, and then we have the day before removes video from the YouTube channel because now, I don't know if I should watch Reforge Gaming or not Reforge. Not Reforge. I don't know if I should watch Force Gaming because he talks about we've been watching Force Gaming's videos up until the day before came out, and now he played the day before, and now he has his thoughts on the day before. So I figure we continue watching his video stuff because we've been watching it leading up to this because he was the person that had the most information on the actual game. So let's, do you guys want me to talk about the stories first or watch Force Gaming first? You have to pre-order to play the beta. Yes, you have to pay the, was it 30 bucks? 40 bucks, whatever it was, Super Dave? They had I think 38,000 people or 40,000 people purchased that game. So they sold like $6 million, $7 million. Oh, for Suicide Squad, it's the beta's closed. That's it. It was only for the weekend. Water, what's going on, Water? And 39,999 refunded. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So here, what we'll do. This is what we'll do. We'll watch the day before. We'll watch the day before video, and then we'll do comments, and then we'll read the stories afterwards. All right, that's what we'll do. All right, so this is Force Gaming. We watch his videos quite a bit, like his content. I think he's pretty fair. So let's watch it.
All right, so the day before is finally here. I played all day yesterday, streaming it for a few hours and then playing for several more off stream myself. And I gotta say, my first impressions.
Hold on.
All right, so the day before is finally here. I played all day yesterday, streaming it for a few hours and then playing for several more off stream myself. And I gotta say, my first impressions are not good. Things immediately began poorly. As I was downloading the game, Liam managed to
I'm making it louder.
First thing that happened after making a character, he fell through the floor, infinitely falling through space, forcing him to reboot. I thought, okay, yeah, that's kind of funny, but he's probably just unlucky. So I clicked on a random Twitch stream because I wanted to watch some gameplay while I was downloading, and the exact same thing was happening. The guy's stream that I was watching made a character and immediately fell through the floor. Like, I literally couldn't believe it. But, you know, whatever.
That's always a good sign. 10 seconds into the game, you fall through the map. Always a good sign. I want to make it clear from the very, 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 very beginning. I said, this looks interesting, but then we started getting that news that it looked fake and whatnot. And then they had the trademark issue and whatnot. And I said, I'm not touching this game. I'm not going to play this game. I don't even care. You know, I have no interest in this. Even if they give me a code, I don't even know if I'll play it. So let's continue.
We'll just give it a shot ourselves, right? So I got in, booted up my stream, and the adventure began. Now, after making a character where you select from a variety of visual and class options, you wake up in Woodbury. Now, fortunately, I didn't end up falling through the floor and was able to progress, being introduced to what is essentially the game's main town or social hub full of NPCs and other players. The prologue takes you through all the major vendors and stations. There's a doctor, guns and ammo, storage, and a workbench. All the stuff was actually fine. Woodbury is a cool looking location. It has the standard vendors you'd expect, and it was neat seeing other players running around. After about 20 minutes, I am then directed to the homestead. This is where they have the game's player housing. Now, having left the confines of the
and just to let you know, when you see the stuttering going on, that's not me. That's literally the game. The game is literally a stuttering mess.
Instant social hub, however, my frame rate immediately tanked. Oh, that was really...
Well,
why is that so choppy all of a sudden? Ooh, jeez. What is happening? Hey guys, how's the stream, how's it running for you right now? I was getting, I don't know, about like 10 frames per second at this point. Now things did smooth out after about a minute, but this was not a good sign and turned out to be a bit of a performance foreshadowing. I proceeded to build my base, selecting from various templates. You're able to place down buildings and other stuff basically. So to start, I had access to this tent, a camp cot, and a few decorative items. And I thought this was neat, like it seemed fine. Although in all my remaining playtime, I have not once yet revisited this area, as there hasn't seemed to be a reason to do so. But so far, not so bad. Like, beyond the frame drops, a few awkward dialogue choices.
All right. Your speech organ seemed fine.
My speech organ? And the unlucky people who start out falling through the floor. This introduction, 30 minutes or so, was fine. Not my preferred way to start a game. I like getting into the action and not talking to NPCs for 30 straight minutes, but ultimately nothing aggressively bad had happened at this point.
Nothing bad happened in the opening things besides falling through the map and giant heads appearing in the middle of the
point. Well, that all changed as soon as I left the social hub and headed out into New Fortune City, or to put another way, once it was time to actually start playing the game.
I watched him live. I watched him live for an hour and 10 minutes. Okay. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. I think he killed maybe 5 zombies, because that's all that was there.
Things immediately took a turn for the worse. This has just been a pretty awful experience. All around, I think this game is really, really not good, but let's talk about the reasons why. For starters, the gun feedback is bad, with there being quite heavy delay on shooting effects and hit registration. Many times it'll be hard to tell if you've even hit anything after shooting or how much damage you did. So for that reason, in most cases, you'll just keep shooting, hoping the thing you're aiming at dies. Now, a majority of the time,
did you see that? Look at where there's.
In most cases, you'll just keep shooting.
He has the cursor on the head.
Shooting, hoping the thing you're aiming at dies.
Did you see that? Look where the marker is. Look where the marker is. It's here. Here's where the head is. Okay, look. This is the same thing that was happening when, what game were we playing when we were shooting? Oh, Battlefield 2042. You were shooting. You would have the marker on someone's head, and no hits were happening. And then you would push it off, and then all of a sudden you would get hits.
At dies. Now, a majority of the time, what will happen is you fire a shot, and there is at least like a 1 to 2 second delay before you see that shot register, or before the animations of your target being hit end up showing. But even worse is that in some circumstances, and this especially seems to be the case in PvP, when you're engaging with another player and dealing with their connection from their PC to the servers, and then from the servers back to you and back and forth. When you're fighting another player, this is even more exaggerated. Many times you'll unload an entire clip into the player, and then several seconds will go by. They'll run around a corner or take cover or go into the street, move through a door, whatever. And then after like a good 4 to 5 seconds, they just drop dead on the floor. In fact, this exact thing happened when Liam and I were in Discord chatting. We happened to be on the same server, and I ended up killing him. That was a real fight. That's a real gunfight. Is he dead?
I died.
Ah!
Oh, did you kill me?
You?
Yeah, I just died.
Wait, that was you?
Yeah. Did you get my stuff? I'm absolutely loaded, dude.
What's hilarious about this, beyond the fact that that happened, was you can see I unload into him. He then runs around the truck and ends up falling dead several feet and a few seconds later. Like, it is the registration of these shots happening is super bad. In addition to that, I would say the sound effects in this game are not great, but I'm not even so much talking about the sounds of the gunshots themselves.
This is so bad. This is so bad. And everyone was like, this is a fake game, this is a fake game, this is a fake game. And it's not such a fake game like you're not playing a game. It's an actual real game. You can play the game. But I knew it. I said these people are just going to steal your money. I said they're going to steal your money, right? I was surprised they didn't do a pre-order. I was really surprised they didn't do a pre-order. Okay? Instead, they decided not to do a pre-order. They said, no, you can just buy it day one. Okay? And what I'm really happy about, that less than 100,000 people purchased this, because at least someone's listening.
Themselves, like, do they sound like guns, whatever, but it's how the game handles positional and directional audio that appears to be quite poor. The distance and direction of gunshots, or really any sounds in the game, seem terribly inaccurate. So you'll hear something that sounds like it's just next door, like maybe a few feet away from you, but it ends up being around the block or even streets over. Gunshots, player sounds like footsteps, zombie gurgles, alarms. Oh, and did I mention the alarms? There are
This is great. The alarm, when I was watching him for the hour and 10 minutes, the alarm, man. The alarms are really ridiculous. I wanted to punch the screen. I wasn't even playing.
Present, aggressively and hilariously so. I basically need to go back to Woodbury. Oh, sorry, guys. Just have to run by this alarm. One of the 100 alarms triggered right now. These are just constantly going off all the time, everywhere. It's super loud, and as far as I could tell, there was no way of shutting them off. I couldn't shoot them. I couldn't interact with the pads to turn them off, as we had seen in preview gameplay footage. Now, I was told by people that you needed to actually pick a character who basically had the perk that let them shut off the alarms. Apparently, I didn't, so I was just constantly listening to alarms blaring everywhere from basically every shop, every door that you could walk into. Besides the larger buildings, all those small stores along the roads appear to have an alarm, and they were just constantly being triggered. It was super annoying. I don't know what else to say. I'm also fairly certain that the game pumps out fake gunshot sounds. Now, the sound's very conspiratorial, right? But it's like, oh, they're putting out fake gun sounds to make...
As Disney World puts out like fake smells to make it smell like popcorn and food's cooking, this game puts out fake sounds to make it sound like more people are playing the game.
It sound like there's players playing when there actually isn't. I'm not accusing them of doing that, but I do think they're just putting fake gun sounds in there just for the heck of it, or it seems to be the case if this isn't some sort of a bug. So what happened is I was walking around the city and I kept hearing shots nearby. So I would move towards that sound's location. It looked to be like it was inside of a building, but I couldn't see the entrance. So I would like walk around the entire perimeter of the building looking for an entrance, looking for the source of the sound, but there wasn't any. This was one of those building blocks that had no actual storefront or entrance to it, but I kept hearing the shots and I kept running around the building. There was never a source of those shots other than them just being generated. There's also things like, you know, the zombie AI in this game isn't very good. It doesn't make a lot of sense most of the time. Sometimes they won't see you when you're right next to them, or you could be sprinting by them and nothing will happen. Other times they'll be hyper aware of you. It's just very inconsistent, really. Animations also of these zombies, they are very few animations. The ones that are there aren't very good. They don't actually sync up with the hits and the movement of the character. Everything is very glitchy and buggy. Speaking of bugs and glitch, dude, lots of them. The ones that we've seen personally so far are things like zombies being stuck in vehicles or on the terrain, players getting stuck in terrain. We saw players locked behind fences, the falling through the floor that we mentioned at the beginning. There were many instances of players just not appearing. For example, when in the social hub, you would see just like the data pads, the tablets floating around. There would be a player kneeling looking at it, but you just didn't see the player, so all you ended up with was a floating data pad. And in fact, if we want to go back to the gunshot thing, maybe it's the case that the shots were real, but I couldn't see the players.
Here's the major problem with a game like this, right? And I saw your comment earlier, Rose, about is this going to be is Skull and Bones going to be worse? We'll get to Skull and Bones a little bit later, and then we'll make that choice. The problem with this game is that we're in one of these scenarios where everyone's going to be like, well, early access. It's only in beta, right? And it's just like, wow. There's games that charge, you know, $40 for a beta, and it works. And then there's people that charge $40 for a beta, and it doesn't work. And then there's people that give you a free-to-play game that works phenomenal. It's just filled with microtransactions. It's like, which one's worse? You know what this game's going to do? This game's going to do all of that. This game is charging you $40 right now for a game that doesn't work. Okay? And I guarantee you, once this game, if it comes out, I don't even think it's going to come out. I think they're going to unsupport it within the first 3 to 6 months. Okay? I think this was a cash grab, personally. And if they get past that stage, it'll be more of a cash grab. Oh, I forgot to change this up here. Hold on one second.
Because we've seen that there can be invisible players. We've seen all sorts of issues with animations, bugs, and glitches. We know that invisible players are a thing. It's happened in the social hub, at least. So maybe the gunshot sound thing being fake isn't the reality, but maybe there's just invisible players running around shooting that we just can't see, but we can hear them. That's a possibility as well. Many instances of character animations glitching out. One frequent example that we saw was instead of like seeing a player running as they would be on their screen, we would see them in a kneeling position, just sliding at sprinting speed across the floor, just not moving, as if they were crouched, like looking in their inventory or looking at their data pad. They were in that.
D-Money, that's a hell of a way to look at something. Right? D-Money says, wrong way to look at it. You gave them $40 for a game that doesn't work. You decided to buy a beta, totally optional. This is not a good way to look at it, right? My look is not the bad way. Your look is the bad way, right? The bad way to look at that is that if it's optional, so I can make a shit game, put it up there, and if someone gives me money for it, then I'm not to blame. The developer's not to blame. It's the customers. No, it's the developers and the customers. Okay, the developer put a shitty game out there for $40, and then the suckers purchased that because they didn't do their research and just got fooled by the advertisement, by what this game was. This game was advertised as a survival game, and yet it's an extraction game, 100%.
That position permanently, but sprinting at full speed. It's just buggy, glitchy. It's not good. And then yes, those alarms constantly going off. If that is not intentional, maybe we can file that under the bugs and glitches side of things. And then, as alluded to earlier on, the performance has not been good. All around, I would say this game performs very badly. Now, I have a decent PC. I'm not ultimately the top of the line, but I've got an i7 11700K. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. I got a GeForce RTX 3080. For me, the game ran like garbage. Frame rate was all over the place.
I'll take a page out of Todd Howard's book. Looks like it's time to upgrade your PC.
very inconsistent. The only thing that was consistent was the stuttering that would happen, in addition to hitching that would regularly occur as you move through the city, presumably because the game is loading in areas, causing these little mini hitches as the loading happens. But the frame rate, the performance was just bad across the board. Now, at first I thought that was because I was streaming, but this persisted outside of the streaming. When I was no longer streaming, when I was no longer recording gameplay, just running natively on my PC, which has those settings. Again, I don't have the absolute beastiest PC, but that's not bad. RTX 3080, 11700K, 64 gigs of RAM. My PC generally runs most games pretty well, even at a 2K resolution.
If I was like, what? Everybody's got a graphics card, right?
This ran bad. I played around with all the settings. I lowered the visual presets. I tried different DLSS settings, low latency mode. Nothing seemed to cut it. If anything, it appeared like the longer I played, the progressively worse it got. I don't know if this is issues with caching. I don't know if this is issues with memory leaks, but yes, for me, performance of this game has not been great. Now, I know for some people, it probably is fine, because that's just the nature of PC gaming. Performance can be all over the place, but judging by Steam reviews and from a lot of at least the anecdotal accounts that I've heard, it seems like performance being an issue is pretty widespread. Anytime that there were more than a few zombies nearby, which wasn't very often, but whenever there were more than like 2 to 3 zombies, that also seemed to cause some massive FPS drops, which actually kind of leans into my suspicion when they early on, prior to release, announced that this game would focus on PvP and that the zombie side of things wouldn't be.
Here's my problem. Remember a couple months ago, those of you that were here watching my content, my problem with Unreal Engine 5, not saying that you can't make good games with Unreal Engine 5, but because Epic Games is making, and this is not, I'm not putting this on Epic in any way, shape, or form, right? What I'm saying is that anybody can make a video game now. Anyone can make a video game now. These guys took assets from other people. They stole assets. They paid for assets. They did whatever they had to do to make the game look like an amazing game when they first pitched it, right? That was it. I've said this for years. I said, imagine, because I come from the film background, I said, imagine making a trailer, the best looking trailer ever. You got laser beams and gunfire and explosions and all this stuff. And then you go see them film, okay? And it literally is just a elongated trailer of what you saw the trailer on the commercial, okay? And I said jokingly, those of you that remember this, I said it would just be a picture of the trailer. It would be like Mystery Science Theater 3000. You would see me sitting there eating popcorn in the corner of the screen, watching my trailer and going, man, that's a good trailer. Okay? And that would be the actual film. And I would take money at the door for people to come to get ready to watch a film, and they would just see the same trailer they saw on the film screen, but just longer. Okay? It wouldn't make sense. There wouldn't be no story. It'd just be really cool things happening. That's what's happening with the Unreal Engine 5, in my opinion. Unreal Engine 5, not saying that because anyone can, I mean, I am saying because anyone can make it, you don't have to have any talent whatsoever. You can literally take things, put stuff together, and make it look really cool. Okay? You can make it look really cool, even though it's not a game. Not a game. This game is 3 to 5 years off from what we just saw. Okay? We're going to continue in a second, but like, Unreal Engine 5 makes it easy for anyone to make a game and yet take people's money. And that's my problem with Unreal Engine 5. Not that Epic made it. Not that there's people out there that are always going to try to pull one over on customers that are naive, stupid, whatever. You can say it, capitalism, whatever you want to say. But Unreal Engine 5 makes it so much easier for people to make it look like it's a really cool game. And it's like a puddle.
Be a major emphasis. I thought that might be due to the fact that maybe they want fewer zombies to help with general performance of the game. I thought that was a possibility. It seems like that might be the case, or at least, again, in my personal anecdotal experience, whenever there was more than like 2 zombies nearby, performance definitely took a hit. So yeah, performance is bad. There's bugs and glitches all over the place, and just generally, I didn't think the game felt good.
Correct, Travis. It's not the tool. It's because they're making the tool so, right? We talked about the cell phone, right? Before you had to film you had to rent a camera. You had to have a lot of money to rent a camera to make a film. Now you don't need that anymore, right? Now you can go get your DSLRs, go make a movie for much cheaper. You can go film a movie with your cell phone, right? There's tools that make it easier. AI makes it easier, but there's also, it makes it easier for more people to try to steal from people and try to make something that's not really there. They're just going to hype you up on what it is.
shooting. Also, the movement, I would say, felt really kind of sluggish and lethargic. That's the best way I would describe it. For argument's sake, let's just say they fix all of that, all of these issues.
So why aren't we making games 30? Because I have a soul, and I'm not a game developer, and I wouldn't know the first thing for coding and whatnot, and I wouldn't want to put a product out that wasn't the best product.
Issues get resolved. They improve the gunplay to make it feel better, the hit registration, the animations, and the sounds. They fix the bugs and the glitches, and performance is ironed out so it doesn't run so poorly, and the latency problems, let's say they get addressed in a few days or weeks from now as the launch rush dies down. If we were to snap our fingers and all...
Got to start somewhere? Sure. My first movie that I actually created, I didn't put it in the movie theater. I made short films and then stepped up and then did the next step, and then did the next step.
All of those issues were resolved. What we're left with is still a shallow content and pretty features lacking game. What kind of game is this, by the way? We've not yet touched on that. Well, originally, and still today even, the day before is described by the developer as a post-apocalyptic open-world MMO survival game. It is not that, and I actually can't believe that they are still calling that. You go on their Steam page, it's labeled as this open-world MMO.
This is on their own Steam page. The Day Before offers players a unique, reimagined journey into the post-apocalyptic open-world MMO. If people like MMOs, they're going to be like, oh, dude, I'm interested in this game. But that's not what this is.
Survival game. This is not an open world MMO. It's not an MMO at all, and I would barely call it a survival game. This is an extraction game. You pick what gear you want to have equipped, you then load into the map, go around scavenging for items while navigating the zombies and other players and trying to escape alive. If you die, you drop most of your stuff. Structurally, this is like most other extraction games, but then it's severely lacking in a lot of what you expect. For one, there are barely any zombies. At most, I would see groups of 2 to 3, but very rarely. I could walk blocks and only see a single zombie in the streets, while also, interestingly enough, not coming across many other.
They should have tested this. If you want to make a game, and if they wanted to make this real, they got to stop doing what they're doing right now. Pull it down, go test it out, give everyone's fucking money back. Okay, work on your game, even though your game's dead. Right? First impressions are everything. Regardless if this is just in beta, alpha, testing, whatever. Right? Your game is out, broke, buggy, unfinished. You promised, you showed this one thing and gave us another. This game's done. There is no No Man's Sky comeback for this. Okay?
Players. For a post-apocalyptic zombie survival MMO, as they call it, the zombies are but a footnote here. Just in general as well, there is not a lot going on, not very much to see and do in this game. Loot seems few and far between, and mechanically, besides shooting, looting is all there is to do. Even the quest system is just looting. Every single mission that I have seen so far was just a fetch quest. It would direct you to an area and tell you to loot specific items found within a certain vicinity. There's just not a lot of things. It's also very mechanical.
No, this is not free to play. This is a $40 early access, beta, alpha, whatever you want to call it, El.
And features lacking. You can jump, you can run, you can loot, you can shoot.
Sounds like a goddamn nursery rhyme.
That's all you need, right? But there's a lot of extra layers of things that should be in here but aren't. There's no mantling, which absolutely blows my mind. This is a UE5 game. I'm pretty sure you can just buy mantling from the Unreal Engine store. I'm being very reductive, but I can't believe there's not mantling in this game. It should definitely be in here, and they better add it. There's also no melee in this game, which is extra perplexing because I swear...
No melee? Zombie game, for God's sakes.
We have seen melee in preview pre-launch footage. There was melee, there were melee weapons. There's no melee system in this game. You can't even butt with your weapon. There are no melee weapons from what we've seen. There is no environmental engagement beyond looting, occasionally opening doors, although you need keypads for any doors that can be opened. And I guess there are elevators that you can call and start as well, but very little engagement with the environment. Things like, I don't know, being able to climb ladders, for example, that's not in the game.
In real life, I wouldn't try to melee a zombie. I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to answer or comment to your statement there. So let me get this. I'm gonna try to break it down. So you're saying in a mythological world, if there was zombies actually in the world, you're trying to tell me that I wouldn't get close enough to a zombie to melee it. Interesting.
The game.
So what would I do? What would I do if one broke into my house and I had nowhere to go? Would I just let it eat me? Or what would I do? Just playing devil's advocate at this point to keep the conversation? Wouldn't risk it? Wouldn't risk meleeing a zombie if you were put up against your life? In a hypothetical world, you wouldn't touch the zombie. You'd be like, I don't want to touch you. Don't touch me. Like, what would you do? What would you do?
Again, no mantling system in the game. Engaging with the world, not a lot to it, which is part of what leads to it feeling very, very static. There are no events in the game as far as we can tell. Things like horde modes or loot drops happening, things that you might expect from an extraction game. None of that is.
If you had to, obviously, but if you could run and shoot, you wouldn't just do that over getting beaten and trying to stab it. What about if your ammo's low? I mean, what's the scenarios here? Right. What Maurice is saying. Is it fast? Is it slow? Are they stupid? Are they smart? What are they? What's the scenario? So you're saying that if I had a gun, unlimited ammo, of course, that I would just shoot the zombie. But there's 200 zombies and I have 10 bullets. So what would I do? I'm surrounded. What am I going to do? 476. I mean, these are just great things to put out. There's no way you would melee a zombie in real life. Right.
Is present here. There doesn't appear to be any bosses or bigger zombie enemies for better loot, again, from what I've seen. Maybe this just requires more playtime. There's also currently no progression in the game, although that was alluded to even in the character creation screen. It mentioned something about progression. You picked.
What about this in zombie apocalypse world that you just created in real life? What about if they were bulletproof? What about if you shot them in the head and it didn't kill them? He just kept coming at you. Then what? What would you do then?
Classes with different skills, but no progression seems to be in here. And also no VoIP, which as difficult.
What about if all these movies were just wrong about telling you to shoot him in the brain because that's where you kill him? Doesn't matter. The brain's inanimate, so they would just keep coming at you. What about if zombies were made of chocolate? Well, man, that'd be delicious, wouldn't it?
And frustrating as it can be.
It's a dark chocolate, milk chocolate. What kind of chocolate, Travis? White chocolate?
Listening to other players in these games, it definitely does add to a lot of the charm. But ultimately, my main point is a lot of things that you might expect from an open world zombie survival game, but although that's not what this is, it's an extraction game. A lot of things that you would expect from extraction games, a lot of things that you would expect from modern day third-person shooters, this game just doesn't seem to have. Even early on, from just my first impressions in an afternoon of playing, there does seem to be some pretty clear design and structural problems with this game, some issues. There's definitely going to be lots of ways.
You don't say there's problems.
To game the system, from what we could tell, disconnect and teleport safely with all of your items back to Woodbury. So instead of having to go to the extraction zone, at one point I was playing, I got disconnected from the server, I had my backpack full of stuff that I looted, and I just ended up in the safe zone in Woodbury with all the stuff that I looted. That seems like that is going to get abused. But then there's also the fact that there's only 2 major extraction points. There are a bunch of small extraction points, but you can't take the stuff in your backpack, only the stuff in your pockets, which is a very small space of inventory. You know what this is going to lead to? Without a doubt, people will end up camping these locations.
Of course, you're going to stay at the exit by the extraction points.
To hell. I assume even today, but if not in the next week or 2 weeks, people will realize if you just camp the only 2 extraction points that
no shit.
People can actually take their stuff through, that's going to be the best way to get loot. Don't bother going around.
Yeah, why play the game? The game is sit at the extraction point, let everybody else loot, and then just steal their stuff. Man, who said this? Man, I think I said it about a year ago when we first saw this game, and they said it was a PvP game, and I said, oh, it's going to be like Sea of Thieves.
Spending 30, 40, 60 minutes looting the town, sit at the extraction point, and when everyone who has their loot comes there, kill them and take their stuff. Because they've designed the game with only 2 static extraction points, that's going to be an issue without a question. And just in general, there is very little to explore. A majority of the buildings in the city.
Gamers are like water. We're going to find the lowest point and the easiest path to get there. Okay? Gamers are going to look at this just like they did. And it's amazing that you said that, D-Money, right? This brings nothing to the genre. Brings nothing new forward. Okay, why make it? Exactly, why make this if you're going to do the exact same things and the same exact mistakes everyone did before? It's not like a game didn't come before this for the extraction type of thing in Division, where you had to extract and there was like 4 locations or 3 locations, and the map was big enough where you could get from one location to the next before they extracted, and you would steal the stuff from the people, right? So the person that's playing the game, the new person that's playing the game, is like, oh, cool, I have to go explore and grab stuff. So they grab the stuff. They're like, oh, man, this is a lot of fun. 2 hours in, they got a whole bunch of stuff. They go back. They're running back to the extraction point, and then all of a sudden, bang. And they're like, what the hell, man? And they're like, get good, bro. And they steal all their stuff. That person that's playing your game is like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm done.
Cannot be entered even in the rural areas that just have like a smattering of houses. Most of them also can't be entered. There's very little in the sense of use of elevation. Like we saw a couple of buildings that had like a second level, but that was basically it. Just in general,
I like the kneeling and running around technique.
Very flat, very static, and ultimately I just
You on a
felt that
segue?
playing this game was just pretty boring. And not because I don't like the genre. I've loved a lot of zombie survival games. I really also like extraction games. It just feels almost like the thought that I had while playing this game was like, they took the Dark Zone idea from the Division and the Division 2, right? They took that concept and they just then removed 90% of the content.
They took a game mode that actually people kind of liked, and then they removed 90% of the content from it. Sounds like a winner.
And features, and that's what we were left with the day before. Now, there are good things about this, right? I don't want to be predominantly negative. I will say it looks really good. How much of that is due to Unreal Engine 5 and the pre-bought assets that they picked up from the store? Who knows, but who really cares? I think
I'm going to say about 90%.
it looks good. I think there's some pretty cool environments and locations, some really neat areas in this map that you can go around and explore that are visually appealing, even if they are not gameplay-wise engaging. I also think the premise is fine. Like I said, zombie survival games I like extraction games as well. I think you can make a good one of these games. I just don't know that this is it. And yeah, I would say that the map system is cool as well. That's another thing that I think is pretty neat. You basically pull out this digital pad that acts as a GPS map. It shows you all the roads and the major points of interest. You can also see a little bit.
So I have a question. Where do they charge these iPads of them in this world that they've created? Where do they charge these? Do they still have power? I mean, I understand like the hub has power because they have generators and stuff. So can you only charge these back at the base? Is it unlimited power?
Bit on the peripheral of your vision, things that are going on in the world, so it doesn't completely blind you while you're looking at the map to what's happening in your vicinity. I think that's pretty neat. I think that map system is cool. I think it looks good. I think the premise is fine, but at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. Currently, the game sits at overwhelmingly negative on Steam with an impressively low 16% approval rating from users, which is one of the lowest that I've seen in a while. I was going around just watching some streamers. I wanted to get other players' thoughts on the game, see what they were given.
I got it, D-Money. Makes sense. It makes sense.
For feedback, see how their play experience was going, and I saw a variety of things. I heard one person, though, at a point say that everyone that was giving the game a low score on Steam, you know, leading to its overwhelmingly negative reviews right now, this person...
You actually have to kill zombies and then use them to power your equipment. What it is.
Said that they were just sheep, that they were just playing into the herd mentality, basically, and hating on the game for the sake of it. Maybe... Or maybe this is simply a bad product and people are reacting to that. It is not as advertised. People expected an open world MMO. It is still described as such on their Steam page right at this moment.
Hey, maybe it will be an MMO one day. One day. And I'm also a super sports athlete that played in the NFL. I'm not false advertising that. Maybe one day I could be. Just not there yet.
But what they got instead was an extraction shooter. Even as an extraction shooter, if you like it, which I myself do, it is lacking many expected features. No melee, no mantling, barely any environmental engagement, no events, basically no zombies, rarely coming across other players, all while being full of bugs and glitches, and I'm sure I've only documented a fraction of them, while also having massive latency problems that make the combat and movement feel like crap. And beyond all of those things, at the end of the day, I just found the game plain boring. The world is static. There's not much going on. Few zombies, fewer players. You're just running around a basically empty city, looting cars and entering the occasional building. I would say that the only real redeeming quality that I can see in this is the fact that it's new and you can PvP. So if you...
That's the only good aspect of this game. That it's new. So what do you guys think your game is? Tell us a little bit about your game. Well, best quality is new. Best quality is new. New? Yeah, you know, it's the newest thing out there. New. Anything else? No, that's about it. Just new.
Want to walk around in a new game that you have not seen and experienced before while fighting other players? Great, that can be fun, and this game has that, but that's about all it has. At the end of the day, I just want good games. That's all I really care about. We've talked...
And I agree with that statement 100%. I just want good games.
Talked at length about this developer's history, about the development of this.
PvP could be fun. That, in that sentence, L, the could word says a lot. Could. There's a lot there for just that one word, could.
Game about everything that's happened with the volunteers, with the store-bought assets, with the legal issues, with the constant delays, with the fact that this developer has abandoned every single one of their game that they put into early access so far. That is the reality.
Listen to that part one more time. Okay? Listen to this part one more time.
Assets, with the legal issues, with the constant delays, with the fact that this developer has abandoned every single one of their game that they put into early access so far.
This company has abandoned every single game they've put in early access up to this point so far. Your Honor, case closed.
That is the reality. None of that really matters if they make a good game.
Oh, it matters.
We talked about that stuff, and we followed this stuff because I was interested in this game as a premise. Like I've said, what they showed initially looked really promising. Upon looking further into it, I saw some things that looked a little concerning. All of that preamble, all of that discourse around the game prior to it coming out doesn't matter if the game is good. Even with all of that in mind.
Even if the game was good, okay, there's still massive red flags on this game. Massive red flags.
And with all that knowledge, I was hoping this game would be good. And if this game were good, I would happily say so. I would prefer the world and the reality be that this video is me saying, guys, despite all of the concerns the day before it came out, it's a killer new game. Sure, it's not a zombie survival MMO, but it's an extraction game, and they did a really good job, and it plays really well, and it feels great.
No, I disagree with him there. Okay? The fact that on the website it says it's a survival MMO, and he said if it was good, right? And he said if it was a good game and it was an extraction shooter and it wasn't what they said it was, there's still a massive problem there. Okay? I don't care if you're having fun. I don't care if you think it's good. If they advertise, okay, if I told you I was going to be a hot blonde chick on the stream today and then I showed up, that's false advertisement. Okay? Okay, that's false advertisement. You said one thing, you delivered another.
And I had super fun playing, and I'm going to keep playing today, but that is not it. That is not what they've done. As of now, on first impressions, no, I don't recommend buying or playing the day before. In fact, I've sent in a refund request on Steam. I've blown past my 2-hour limit that is typical before they cut off refunds, but I'm going to fight for it anyways because I don't want to give them money. Like, I consider this a sacrifice, and hopefully this video, as well as the stream that I did, provides as a...
Now, I do applaud him for doing this, and I think it's okay as a person that's reviewing it. If they didn't give codes out and you had to pay money for it, and he put the hours in to let us know if the game is good or bad, that 100% he should get his money back, because I don't think a lot of people should spend their money to then experience it for themselves. It's a bad game. This is not a bad... See, this is the difference between when someone looks at and the PlayStation and the Xbox bots and the PlayStation ponies all start bickering back and forth what a shit game was, right? Redfall looks extravagantly amazing compared to what this game comes out at launch, okay? Starfield is not a bad game, okay? It's a bad game compared to other games, but it's not a game like this. in any way, shape, or form. Okay, that's the problem. We have this thing where if a game is below a 7 or a 6, it's a 1. Okay, where this game is literally a 1. Okay, there's games that come out that are broke, buggy, unfinished, and we're like, it's fun, it's okay. Okay, and then there's this. Okay, then there's this.
Warning to keep you away from it for now. Maybe they turn it around. Other people have other impressions. I've actually seen other streamers and content creators speak quite highly. I feel like that is just because it's fun to go around a new game and fight other players.
Exactly.
I think that is like the only virtue this game has, the only redeeming quality.
We talk about this. Me and Travis go back and forth on Discord, right? I talk about blind love and blind hate, right? No matter what happens, if you hate a game, you just blindly hate it. You're like, I hate it. I just don't like anything they do. It doesn't matter if they make the best game in the world, you're going to think it's shit. Then there's the people that doesn't matter how bad the game is, you blindly love something because what he just said, it's new. And because it's a new thing, your new experience, there's something about a game, right? What's really cool about Fortnite Legos is it's everything's new. It's that moment you can't get back. Okay, you're playing it for the first time. No one's ruining it for you. There's not 1,000 videos at that moment you're playing. That's why people like things that are new. Okay, but when you blindly love something and someone tries to tell you, hey, that's a bad game, they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Great, I'm having fun. And that's completely different. Okay, it's completely different. You have to realize you can like something, you can have fun with something, but you have to admit to yourself that this is not the best product. And if you think this is the best product and you're okay with that, you are the problem.
Quality. Outside of that, if that's all you're looking for, walking around a new space that you haven't played in before and shooting players while everyone is still new and bad, yeah, absolutely, you can have fun with that. But
sure,
everything else about this game is shallow, is lacking, is just outright abysmal. And the development, the history of this developer leaves me lacking any confidence that they are going to turn this around. But I hope they do. Because like I said, at the end of the day, all I want is a good game. Turn this into a good game, and I'll play it. But right now, the day before, it's bad. It's just outright bad, in my opinion.
I disagree with him. I think certain companies, I agree up to a certain point. They come out, they made a game, they fix the game, okay? Then they can redeem themselves. I hope this game company doesn't become successful. I hope they go bye-bye. I hope they go of the dodo, okay? Because this is not once, this is not twice, this is not 3 times. I think this is like their 5th time making a game where they put it out and then they abandon it within the actual early access period of whatnot. Now, I'm not saying they're abandoning it, but you know, there's things here. Make sure you guys will give Force Gaming a like. Go check out his channel. Hit subscribe if you like his stuff. We watch his stuff a lot. He doesn't need my help. He makes plenty of views. But regardless, got to give props where props is due. Okay. So much so that if they were so good with their game, then the day before removes videos from YouTube channel. Huh. I wonder why they would remove videos showing what the game looked like before it came out. Huh. I'm sure it's just I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's no big deal. I'm sure it's just a mishap. Okay. The day before removes videos from YouTube channel. The day before, Fantastic deletes one of the game's early trailers from its YouTube channel following its game's rocky launch on PC. I wonder why. What's going on, Dog Gaming? People are still buying Call of Duty and getting scammed every year. Let them scam. You might like to get them scammed, D-Money. I would like to protect the people. Okay? I would like to protect other customers. Right? If the people that want to be scammed, cool. If you want to buy a full X on the corner of the street and you're happy with it, cool. No harm done. Okay? Right? If you want to buy something like that and knowing, you go up to that person, you know it's not a real Rolex and you buy it, cool. Okay? But you're not getting your money back from that once it breaks. You're not going back to that guy, hey, my full X broke. Can I get my money back? It's not going to happen, right? Those are people on the side of the street that are not part of the law. They're selling stuff on the side of the street because that's what they do. They're hustlers, Okay, capitalism is fantastic. These guys are making games and trying to put it out there, advertising in New York City and Times Square with advertisements to get people to buy this game because they want to try to make as much money as possible. They want to invest money to try to sucker people in to get the money and run. That's what they're doing. Who puts an alpha or beta in Times Square to advertise for it? Okay. So let's read this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about The Day Before removes a video from its YouTube channel. The Day Before, developer Fantastic deletes one of the game's earliest trailers from its YouTube channel following the game's rocky launch on PC. Now, the developer's controversial online zombie survival shooter The Day Before has been deleted from some of the game's early trailers. This move comes following a disastrous PC launch, which is greeted with thousands of negative reviews and complaints of underdelivered features and promise during the development. Now, prior to December 7th release on Steam, The Day Before has consistently been a platform most wishlist game. However, the $39.99 title has since become the lowest rated game on Valve's own service, gathered more than 15,000 negative reviews as of writing players, and that's actually higher now, complaining of poor performance and glitches at launch, but there's also outcry over developers Fantastic's failure to deliver on the game's promises. Now, it seems that Fantastic is trying to scrub any evidence of the promises being made, as developer has reportedly deleted some of the Day Before's early trailers. I'm sure there's no problem, right? Let's just murder somebody and then we got to clean it up afterwards, because we don't want any evidence happening that what we said. Among the deleted videos was the game's original 2021 announcement trailer from Fantastic Official's YouTube page. The Dual Shockers reported the teaser, which can still be viewed on YouTube through other channels, marketed the game as an open-world survival MMO. In reality, The Day Before lacks open-world elements and instead plays an extraction shooter akin to games like The Escape of Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. Now, in a statement released prior to The Day Before leaving early access, Fantastic apologized for its past marketing efforts and asked gamers not to accuse the studio of scamming. Several people still expressed their support for Fantastic at the time, but it's apparent that the developer has lost its trust and many of the backers following The Day Before's full release. While Fantastic has tried to make it up for the players based on quickly releasing an update to The Day Before, they supposedly addressed some of the game's most critical issues, improved performance. There's still no sign that the developer will actually try to turn The Day Before into an open-world MMO zombie shooter that they initially marketed as. Aside from failing to deliver the promises, The Day Before also has been accused of copying the trailers from popular open-world games like Rockstar Games' Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, and we can also throw in Division, Last of Us, Call of Duty, all of those also as well. Additionally, Fantastic faced criticism after developer previously revealed its website that operated by using the work of volunteers, and the company's full-time volunteers were paid, but the part-time only received cool rewards, participation certificates, and a free code as compensation, according to Fantastic. Okay, it's such a history and controversy surrounding The Day Before. It's completely understandable for many people to think Fantastic as being a shady entity. Okay, so there you go, right? This game, from the very start, if you guys watched my content from the very beginning, from when they first announced this, I said, it looks interesting. I said, but we'll wait and see. And the more that came out about this game, the more and more was abrupt of saying this game is an absolute travesty. Okay, this game is fake. Not fake. It's actually a real game, but it's not what it told it was supposed to be. Again, false advertisement is false advertisement. They could be sued for this, I'll be honest with you. But it doesn't really matter. What are you going to get from a company that has nothing? So I hope that this company, in my opinion, doesn't make any more games after this. I hope the company goes under. I hope the people that are developers, I don't care if it's one person, I don't care if it's two people, I don't care if it's 12 people, the people that keep making these games for this company and keep not supporting the games that keep coming out, they're just trying to make a quick buck and move on. Do something else with your time. And I'm saying that to the customers. Anything that comes out from this company, or if you find out that the person that works for this company moves over to another company, because that's probably what they'll do. They'll probably scrub the name of this company, make a new company, and then try to sell you off on something else that they come out with. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Did you play The Day Before, and did you want your money back? Are you ever going to play another game from these guys that created this, excuse me, that created this game? They did a prop hunter game. They did, I forget what the other winter survival game. I forget what it was. I never played any of their games. Okay, they're all pretty bad, or they're all pretty shady in some way, shape, or form. But again, these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Nothing's falling down Everest. Did I play? No, I didn't have a review. Dog Gaming. I haven't played it at all. I have no opinion. We watched the trailers last week and the information about Pandora last week, but I haven't played it. The more I watched other people's coverage, the more I got uninterested in it. I didn't even want to give them $14.99 for the game. I'm telling you, game companies are like zombie hobos after all our changes. Or after all our change. You got some change, mister? It's ridiculous, man. I don't know how anyone can defend this company. You're having fun, cool. But they're literally trying to remove marketing material that pumped up this game to make the most wishlist game on Steam because it was sold on something that it is not now. And that right there is shady as fuck. Okay? If you're happy with just giving your money, just closing your eyes and just handing out money to people, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Are there people actually defending this game? Yes. Yes, there is. Then we have one more article here. Let's see what this one is. Might be rehashing what we already talked about. Yeah. It's talking about not an MMO. I'll just read this. We won't make it a breakout, but new day before discovery has players even more disappointed. The disastrous launch of the day after the day before, becomes even worse as players uncover something interesting about the playable zone. Okay. As continued to string controversy after the gaming community unearthed the Unreal Engine marketplace assets and make up the majority of the content from being Steam's most wanted game in November of 2023. The launching with overwhelming negative score on Steam, the fall from grace on the day before has been nothing short of catastrophic. When initially announced by Fantastic in 2021, the day before billed as an open-world zombie-themed survival MMO. However, the game is now released this December. Anything but the day before was no longer a survival game, but rather a style itself an extraction shooter. The false advertisement coupled with rumors of unpaid labor, which we already read about. The day before is a playable but very loose interpretation of the world as an early access version on Steam. Right? It's not even a beta, it's early access, right? So it's past beta. Past alpha, it's past beta, it's early access. Okay? Despite allegedly having 5 years of development, no way. No way this game has had 5 years. Unless it's like dog years. Maybe it's dog years. Right? Maybe they worked on it for like 12 months and they're like, yeah, it's 7 years old. It's 7 years. Okay? Despite allegedly having 5 years of development, Redder user discovered that the day before used an asset pack worth $300 from Unreal Engine's marketplace for the entire city map. With the Barnhouse main hub, the player items allegedly being a sole original models. Another user in the same thread pointing out the day before also used a game kit worth $65 on the inventory and gameplay features. The anger from the community caused the day before to shut down its Discord servers. Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. the game was being so well received that they shut down their Discord server as many players flooded the platform with negative feedback. Bug reports, complaints, and hateful comments. While 2023 was marked by the long and terrific video game release, the day before will also instead join notorious titles that came out during this year. Lord of the Rings Gollum, The Walking Dead, King Kong, right? You could throw Redfall in there, okay? The day before will likely not recover from this disastrous release. Good. Good. As many players have concluded that the game is also cobbled together in a matter of months. Lack of a map, interactive progression system, enemy variety, and PvP content imply that the marketing for the day before was dishonest from the get-go. The day before's map and gameplay with the assets from Unreal Engine Marketplace, perhaps the most damning piece of evidence, is Fantastic never had a serious plan to make a zombie survival MMO. But given a huge interest in the project sparked amongst gamers across the globe, the marketing certainly there's someone else to do a concept justice. Okay. My wife's a psycho, so she came bursting in. Sorry about that. I love how these guys just don't care. That's common strategy. Legit extraction game, hence why extraction shooter are horrible by design. Many people don't play them. This whole game was sold as bad goods from the start. They didn't know what they were making. They had a pitch. It was like friends in a room got together, okay, to say, hey, what kind of game can we make? And then they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then they never did it. Let's see here. Any criticism? Don't like my food I made. Well, astronauts enjoyed my food when going to the moon. So, in your face. So, I'm besides anything else tragically coming out of this story, I'm not going to cover the day before anymore because they don't even need a time of day. Again, I'm being dead serious. This company doesn't deserve anything. The people that they took advantage of to help volunteer to make this game, I feel for them because I've worked for companies where you do unpaid internships and stuff like that, and you get dicked over in the end. That's what these people got. Okay, they got a certificate. Thanks for your hard work. Okay, these people don't deserve. These people give people bad names that make video games. Okay, the people that are actually working hard to make a video game for you to spend your hard-earned money on, these people spit on that. They don't care. So we'll move on from them to the next gem. And they won't, dude. They won't. I mean, obviously, my channel's a news channel. Okay? There's a lot of news stories that come across that I won't cover because it's not worth the time. I felt that this because it was such a high-profile game and it was garbage, okay, it needed me to cover it to show that Force Gaming was covering it. What's his name? Upper Echelon covered it as well. There's plenty of people out there covering it. I'm making sure that people, if you're thinking about this, you're on the fence, maybe you don't know, because the internet's a huge place. There's people that have 1 million subscribers that no one's ever heard of before, right? So I want to make sure that anyone that's in my community, you want to go buy it and play it, whatever, cool. But I want to make sure that I do myself justice to tell people that this game company they're a bunch of scam artists. Have been, always will be. And they will not get anything from me going forward for this game. And when they come out again with the next game, I will shine a light on them as well, to make sure they don't get not 1 cent from anybody. From one train wreck to the next, we're going to be talking about Skull and Bones.
This is the Indian Ocean during the second golden age of piracy.
This is an overview of Skull and Bones. It was by IGN. It came out like 3 days ago. I've been saying for well over 2 years, 3 years, I said that this game is dead on arrival. I'm standing by that still. I have not watched this trailer yet. I just saw this pop up in my stream, and I said, let's watch this as well, shall we?
And on these waters, you will stake your claim. Skull and Bones is a gritty and immersive pirate action RPG.
Now, she's explaining what Skull and Bones is. Let's hope it doesn't do what Day Before did.
Your claim. Skull and Bones is a gritty and immersive pirate action RPG experience, offering a rags-to-riches fantasy and a vast open world that can be experienced in solo and in co-op. In it, you will rise the ranks of the pirate world and become the most fearsome kingpin of the high sea.
Kingpin, huh? Go on, Alien. How long have they been hearing about this game? It's been since 2017? No. 2015, 2016?
In this overview of Skull and Bones' gameplay experience, we'll walk you through its world, its player progression, gameplay systems, and its challenging naval combat. Your story begins in the middle of a devastating battle on the lawless seas. After a brutal defeat, you and other survivors find yourselves shipwrecked on a remote and perilous...
Just know, Elle, and I'm not going to try to talk you out of it, right? What I'm going to tell you is that this game has been redone 5 times. 5 times. And when I say redone, I mean it was one way, and then they scrapped it, and they started again, and then they changed it, and they did it again to try to figure out what this game is. And the reason I'm telling you that is that the core gameplay has changed so much that you're going to see identities of a game, and you're like, oh, this... I'm trying to think of another game. Did you play Gotham Knights? Did you play Gotham Knights, L? And I like Gotham Knights, okay? But I'm using it as an example for what the core elements were. You could tell that there was microtransactions in that game that they took out of that game, right? And it just doesn't seem right when you're playing. You're like, something's off about this game. There's other games like that you saw that they took the core out of it. Anthem was like that as well. They did something to it, okay? Gotham Knights was great. So no, Travis, you're missing the point that I'm saying. See, blind love. You're missing the point. Just goes over. You're like Superman in that meme, right? You're missing the whole point, right? So they've changed this game so much that there's going to be bits and pieces in this game from the first build, from the third build, from the fourth build, from the fifth build, where they don't gel together.
Island. Here, you'll choose your captain and begin your new life of piracy with your first mate, Asna.
The wind favors the fearless. Let us chase it.
She will use her extensive seafaring experience and knowledge of the Indian Ocean to guide you in
It's just like Sea of Thieves equals Skull and Bones. No, I'm not even close, Jesse.
your quest for riches and infamy. In Skull and Bones, increasing your infamy is an ongoing objective that you'll pursue. Infamy is the center of player progression. The more infamous you become, the more opportunities open up across the world, allowing you to build more impressive ships, to take on riskier contracts, and to gain untold riches as you ascend the pirate ranks. After escaping the shipwreck, you will approach the Red Isle and discover the pirate den of St. Anne.
Well, see if this wasn't shit at launch, Travis. Sea of Thieves was lack of content at launch. That was it. The gameplay itself was really good.
Which offers up a first taste of pirate culture.
Another bottom feeder washes ashore.
In St. Anne, you'll find vendors such as the blacksmith, refiner, and more. By speaking to the shipwright, you'll be tasked with gathering the materials to build your first pirate vessel, the Bedar.
I can build you the mightiest ship in the Indian.
Travis, I played the game for 2.5 years before it came out, at launch, and 3 years after launch. I'm letting you know, it wasn't shit when it came out. It was lack of content that came out. The actual gameplay of Sea of Thieves was really good. It was the content that was missing from the game.
Ocean, but how you steer it into the waves is up to you, Captain.
All ships in Skull and Bones have unique perks and a wealth of customization options to suit different playstyles. Weapons like the long gun excel at sniping enemy weak points from a distance, while demi-cannons act like ship-mounted shotguns. Likewise, armor has different elemental damage defenses, from flooding...
Yeah, the only pirating going on here, Water, is that Ubisoft's taking your money.
to fire, explosive, and tearing resistance. Higher tier armor will even grant you perks. The furniture you choose for your ships also offer a range of effects, including increased stamina regeneration for your crew and quicker reload times. Your ships are the heart of your adventure, and to compete for supremacy of the ocean, you must expand your fleet for the many challenges ahead. With your Bedar crafted and customized, it's time.
The core gameplay looks better than Sea of Thieves, but Sea of Thieves is a completely different game than this. The only common ground they have is it's pirates. The core gameplay of Sea of Thieves is literally storytelling and exploration. There's no exploration in this. The core gameplay of this, Travis, is literally pirate battle, like ship versus ship. That's the core gameplay. So you saying that the core gameplay looks better than Sea of Thieves literally just shows me you have no idea the difference between Sea of Thieves and this game.
To set sail. Out in.
There's no exploration. You can't get off the boat in this. The only time you get off the boat is when you go to your main hub. When you're exploring in this game, you're putting your ship up against an island and you're chopping down a tree from the ship.
In open waters, you'll come face to face with Skull and Bones' most visceral gameplay element: naval battles. Throughout the Indian Ocean, you'll encounter other players battling, exploring, and pursuing their own objectives. All contracts you take on can be progressed both in solo.
Not only has he not played Sea of Thieves, but I'm also going to say that he hasn't played any of the betas of this as well.
And in co-op. And if you find yourself facing overwhelming odds, you can fire a signal to rally nearby pirates to your cause, bringing players together. to increase your chances of success. While your early contracts will have you tracking and attacking gatherer ships, at any time you can plot your own course, whether to investigate mysteries or to test your mettle against other hostile factions.
Like this spot right here, this is only at the hubs. You can't go to any island and get off your ship and explore.
Ships. Whoever your enemy may be, the first thing you should do is identify their ship rank and loadout with your spyglass. Pirates don't play fair, and you should use whatever intel you have to your advantage. Choose the right combination of ship and customization for each challenge, which will help you navigate this hell in paradise. Beyond being an ocean of danger, the high seas are also full of possibility. You'll discover wrecks that can be salvaged for silver and other resources, and encounter dynamic events like wealthy merchant convoys with powerful warship escorts.
Lots of cutscenes I see. This is the core gameplay here, guys. This is the core gameplay. If you want ship to ship, this is it, right?
Back on land.
If you think that some other game in your mind that's what it's going to be, you're mistaken. That's what the game is.
And keep your ears open for tall tales of ghastly glows and terrors from the deep. And seek out these legends in pursuit of infamy and rare loot. The choice of risk versus reward is yours to take. If you want to test your mettle against other players, seek out treasure maps.
A treasure map! Luck is with us!
Finding one will automatically trigger PvP and mark your location, allowing others to hunt you down. Outwit your opponents and earn legendary troves of loot, all for yourself.
Can you see the amount of silver? Hot water!
Say, were you ever in old St. Anne?
St. Anne, old St. Anne.
Eat what
I see lots of microtransactions in our future.
you find and you drink what you can.
Only in old St. Anne. Hey! Only in old St. Anne. Hey!
In due time, your growing infamy will have you working with vicious pirate kingpins like John Scurlock.
I could really use a new captain now. Heard you swap that leaky tub of yours. Talk of your deeds grows louder.
The kingpins are your entry to the world of higher stakes piracy.
Sherlock suspects the enemies are conspiring to undermine his business, smuggle weapon cache, and see people exchange for information.
They will give you a glimpse of how lucrative this lifestyle can truly be by offering you riskier contracts with even greater rewards.
So let me see the loop here. Okay. Start off, get a ship, take the ship, battle a guy, blow up the ship, come back, collect your thing. Go back out your ship, blow up another ship, come back, get your thing. Go back out, blow up another ship, come back, do your thing. Right? That's, am I getting it right?
And we shall reap spoils.
Not a go on a mission, park your ship, go on an island, go on an adventure, kill the guy on the land. It's get on a ship, go blow up a ship, come back, turn in quest.
Greater than the wealth of nations. You won this chance, Cully. It's yours. We can become anything we want to be.
Some of their tasks will have you plundering dangerous forts and faction settlements.
Yeah, plundering ships and forts, though, at least the last time I saw it, was that you plunder it by shooting and breaking it apart from the sea, and then once you blow up the walls, you capture it, and then you get the stuff.
These multi-stage battles are some of the most difficult in Skull and Bones, and require masterful tactics to succeed. When the odds are stacked against you, it's worth calling on reinforcements, and teaming up with other players will increase your chances of victory.
So would I be wrong in saying that this game is like War of Tanks, War of Ships, but just with pirates?
As your notoriety reaches to further corners of the Indian Ocean, you'll have amassed
Sea of Tanks. That's right. That's right.
riches, a fearsome reputation, and a devastating fleet of ships. Next, you sail for glory.
Remember when they first showed it, all they showed was like you had multiple ships, and when you made a left, they all turned left and they were all shooting at the same time. Like you would build up your stuff, and that was the ship battle. You remember that? I wonder if they took those videos down.
And legacy.
They want to call me a pirate, a rebel, a threat to the Empire.
World of Warships. That's it. Thank you very much.
I will inspire them to call me worse.
By reaching Tier 6 of the Buccaneer Infamy rank, you'll go from completing tasks for others to running your own operation by joining the Helm and unlocking your own pirate lair.
Sugarcane is easy to find, but turning it into something worth selling, now that's the hard part.
As a secret smuggling ring, the Helm will connect you to an underground black market, attain exotic resources, and refine them into illegal goods ready to be sold to the highest bidder. However, a pirate's greed knows no bounds, and transporting this desirable cargo will draw the attention of opportunistic rogues. To stay on top of the food chain, you must strategically seize key territories, choose vital Helm upgrades, and expand your operation as you claim your rightful place among pirate legends.
This is what I see in the future, okay? This game, the loop of this game is going to get so repetitive. If you thought anyone talking about Starfield, going on the planet and going to a base and clearing that base out and then going to the thing, this is going to get more repetitive than that. And the difference is, because at least in Starfield, you got to get in your ship, you got to go to the planet, you got to explore the planet to get to the same place to do it. This, you're going to get on a ship, get in the water, fight the guy that's 10 feet away from you, be done with that, then come back on land, then do the same thing again over and over. That loop is going to be so repetitive because you're doing it so much, because that's all you're doing, because there is no exploration outside of your ship, right? And it's going to feel really good in the beginning. You're going to be like, oh man, this is good. The water looks good. The ship is fun to control. I got all these menu systems to go through. But once you get past that first stage of knowing the menu system, knowing the stuff, let's just say 2 hours, right? You're going to start playing, oh, cool, the battle's really fun. Oh, this is so good. And then it's all about the upgrades, right? That enough that you're playing, doing that loop to then get an upgrade, to then go up against harder ships to do the same loop. Not a different loop, the same loop.
These are just some of the ways you'll leap into Skull and Bones' ever-evolving world, and many other surprises.
Now, they're being very, very weird here, okay? Showing this, where they show him walking.
Skull and Bones'
This just means other outposts, at least in the details that I know. Okay?
Evolving world, and many other surprises.
Because they don't show you shooting guns, they don't show you swinging swords.
Await. From a robust endgame to new challenges, free seasonal content.
It's all PvP, if I'm not mistaken. Hell, I think it's all PvP.
And additional PvP activities.
Like there's story missions, but you can go up against PvP as well. I think they said it in the video.
Now, prepare to sail the perilous waters and become the most fearsome pirate kingpin.
I guess we'll all find out February 16th. See, here's the exploration, right? But this is back in 2022 Gamescom.
With the waves beneath you and the wind in your sails, the Indian Ocean is yours to fully explore in Skull and Bones. But as we recently learned, most of Ubisoft's upcoming pirate simulator takes place at sea. So what is out there to discover aside from water, and well, more water? We spoke to developers
More water.
at Ubisoft Singapore to find out.
The gameplay on land is about socializing, crafting, building up your fleet, and taking contracts in the game. And
So there you go. They came out and said there is no exploration. This is it. The gameplay on land is about socializing, crafting, building up your fleet.
socializing, crafting, building up your fleet, and taking contracts in the game, in either a den or the outposts.
Despite the majority of Skull and Bones map being made up of ocean, you can step off your ship and walk on dry land. Not every island you see is explorable, but you can weigh anchor at dens and outposts.
Which is just docks. That's it.
Two special location types that have everything that a pirate needs
A menu system.
to prepare for further adventures.
The particularity of the land also is that it offers you a safe zone where nobody can attack you. The role of the pirate is to do some back and forth between the safe land where you can build your ship and
Oh, so it's unlike Sea of Thieves, where Sea of Thieves there is no safe plot because you could go to the outposts and the dens and you could still get attacked by another person at any time.
customize your ship, but also trade some resources before to go on the hostile ocean to steal precious cargo that then you bring back. So from land, aside building and then crafting and trading, also you can take some contracts to make some money from some other pirate kingpins. As your infamy begins to spread across the Indian Ocean, you'll gain an access to your own pirate lair, from where you can kickstart your ascent to pirate kingpin by manufacturing and smuggling illegal and high-value goods.
Skull and Bones' world has been designed as a living space that changes as frequently as the tides. Some characters won't stay in one place forever, so you'll need to explore the map to find the right people with the right opportunities.
Spread all over the world, you will find some outposts where you can also meet other smugglers or some local rebels fighting against the mega corporations. We call them ephemeral zones because the NPC you will meet in
Hold on. What does it say? Some local rebels fighting against the mega corporations. We call them okay, zones because the NPCs you will meet in.
Ephemeral zones because the NPC you will meet in this outpost won't always be the same because they are also traveling. They are moving from a place to another one. When you connect to Skull and Bones, the first thing to do is look at your map and to see where the trade routes are, where the merchants are, before to select the right ship, provision it, and equip it, and set sails to the direction that is more interesting for you.
Sailing,
Did they add that already? Gaming Fire? I know it was this month, but did they add it already?
trading, and smuggling are all important aspects of a buccaneer career. But what about treasure hunting? Perhaps the most famous of all the pirate pastimes.
There are a lot of treasures hidden in all the outposts, so you need to board some ships and to steal pieces of treasure, or you can also scavenge some wrecks to find other pieces of map according to some drawing and some landmarks. Once you find the right island, you can also use a land compass that will help you to find the location of the treasure.
While there are plenty of important things to find and do on land, the core gameplay of Skull and Bones takes place at sea. With that in mind, Ubisoft Singapore has put a huge amount of work into making the ocean an interesting and challenging place to explore.
So our water, it's essentially a deforming mesh, and that deforming mesh informs the physics. So the boat is actually interacting with the waves. It's not just sailing straight and we add some splashes or like an animated texture. We have other physics properties that each ship will read from. So
here's a I like what they're saying here about the water, right? Someone making a pirate game after Sea of Thieves has their work cut out for them, right? And I'm talking about any game that we talk about. Doesn't matter if it's first-person shooter, if it's a pirate game, whatever. There's a bar set, and then everyone has to hit at least the bar to at least make it to the same, right? Or they can go a little bit above, right? The water physics and stuff in Sea of Thieves is phenomenal, okay? So obviously, as a pirate game, in my opinion, they got to hit that bar and then make it better.
There's buoyancy and there's drag, so this affects how far into
It dropped on the
water
7th?
boat will
Okay.
go, how slow they will go through it. So each ship should feel different based on the size and how heavy it is.
Since sailing is such a focus, the naval mechanics have had to evolve beyond what we saw in Assassin's Creed. Things like the weight of your items in the hold and the direction of the wind all need to be taken into account.
Of course, wind should be important to sailing and navigation, but the wind direction actually affects the speed of your ship. A good player will navigate better with the wind at their back and tack better and therefore be a better navigator. So it's just another element of the world that the player needs to be aware of.
But while the systems are more detailed now, Skull and Bones is definitely not a hardcore sailing simulator.
You don't need to be a sailor to play Skull and Bones and be able to understand what to do, but as you learn how to use the wind better and what that means and what does your weight mean in your cargo and the type of ship that you have, you'll see that there is advantages to being a better captain and a better navigator.
The waves of the Indian Ocean can frequently be calm and beautiful, but Skull and Bones has a full weather system that could totally transform its waters.
Well, we want to make sure that there is different types of weather, so you can have some light rain, you can have incredibly
Does the rain do anything besides visuals?
They will feel dynamic. We want the player to be surprised by that and feel the threats as you normally would at sailing out in the open seas.
What's the threat of it raining? Is your ship flooding? You have to bucket it out?
A storm can be as dangerous as a 100-gunner galleon, so one of Skull and Bones' biggest challenges will be learning how to sail when the water is determined.
Oh, that's going to feel real good. I would love to see the people that are playing the game. They have, they just got a big score, right? They have all their loot, and then all of a sudden the ocean takes them out. That's happened in Sea of Thieves, and I was furious. Right, all of a sudden you're about to make it to the thing. You have your biggest score ever, and all of a sudden the Kraken comes out of the water and eats your ship, and you're like, God damn it! You lost 2 hours of your time. I can't wait for that to happen in this game. People freaking out.
To break your hull.
When you enter the storm, obviously the waves get a lot bigger. That means that the certain size of ship you have could affect you. You could flood, you could take damage. Visibility will change. It'll be a lot darker, so maybe you won't.
All right, so you can flood. Can you stop it from flooding?
Be able to see threats. So yeah, it forces the player to make sure he's equipped properly for the journey with the right ship. Maybe they have enough food and weapons in case they engage someone.
Most open worlds create variety through different biomes and environments, but the ocean setting means Skull and Bones can't really do that. Instead, the developers have paid close attention to the different water states and the iconography of the golden age of piracy to ensure that each area of the map feels new and interesting.
Wind affects the water, the terrain affects the water, so if I'm in a coastal sea near the shoreline, the waters will be appropriately different. I can go inland, and then we're using the river technology, which we have 2 different water technologies. So more than ever, the world needs to feed the water and then feed the player to help him decide how to act. Not only that, we have the biome diversity of the Indian Ocean, so when I go to Africa, the water will look and feel different than when I go to the East Indies. We wanted to really show the diversity and the realism of water.
As you travel through different territory for the factions, you'll see the colors changing, the flags, the iconography change around you, so you'll be aware of, ooh, I'm in Farah territory, or I'm in the French territory. The color schemes and all of that will change, breaking that up with dynamic events or things that can kind of go, ooh, what is that? And get the player to investigate are really important, because you don't want to just sail, you know, for forever as you're moving, because it's a big game. So that's basically what we try to do, is break up the passage with different things you can engage with, helping a merchant out, repairing a ship.
You can be distracted by also broken pieces of map you will find in a bottle, and that will lead you towards some treasure hidden on the remote islands. You can find also a ship that is looking for some help. You can decide to escort that ship first before to go back to the prey you had started to shadow. Something we implemented also in the game is that sometimes, depending of the value or the properties of the cargo you are transporting, you can attract also specific enemies such as parrot rogues, the rivals who will try to eat a piece of your pie.
That gun's ridiculous.
Skull and Bones' massive open world is beautiful, and you'll want to explore just for the sake of seeing its many sights. But exploration is also vital to staying alive, thanks to the survival mechanics that fit into the core gameplay loop. You need to constantly be searching for new
Here you go. So this is the core gameplay loop.
resources and gathering raw materials to build better ships, feed your crew, and advance your infamy.
In the world of Skull and Bones, you will evolve from the status of castaway, stranded on a desert island, to the role of middleman, working for other pirates, and then to the status of kingpin. So to rise from the hero to hero, but you will first have to collect the resources that will allow you to build your ship and craft your weapon, and that will allow you also to upkeep the morale of your crew, because we have a system of mutiny. So in the game, but you can use a small ship and a harpoon to fish some sharks and even some crocodiles.
They're not,
dude. You
dude.
can use also a large set of tools to chop some trees or to...
That's where this game lost me, when they showed this like 2 years ago, where you're chopping down trees from your ship.
Collect some irons. You can also scavenge some wrecks and steal some pieces of ship. And of course, you can plunder the rich merchant company and all their forts to collect big amount of resources. The value of the resources is based on high risk, high reward.
If the term survival mechanics fills you with dread and memories of depleting thirst meters, don't worry, Skull and Bones isn't that kind of survival game.
As a captain, you don't have a status, you don't need to drink or to consume some food yourself. If you don't feed or don't provide your crew with water, after a while they might turn against you, kick you out of your own ship and maroon you on some island. But if you feed them properly and if you cook also some food providing additional temporary buff, you can also increase the speed of your ship and the damages you will deal because they have more energy.
Its massive map may be mostly water, but it looks like there's still plenty to explore in the world of Skull and Bones. For more on Ubisoft's Pirates...
All right. So there's also, you got to remember that the reason they're doing this is they have to come out with the game. They have to come out with the game, right? Because Skull and Bones got money from the country of Singapore. Let's see, Skull and Bones... Yeah, this was back in 2021. Hold on one second, let me get this. Right, Ubisoft is still making Skull and Bones because the deal with Singapore government won't let it die. Okay? So the whole reason Skull and Bones, they were going to scrap this thing. This game was supposed to not make it. It's supposed to be done. They changed it so much over the years that they couldn't... They knew it wasn't going to be successful. Right? This is why it's gone under so many iterations of the game, and they've changed the core gameplay 5 times. Okay? It's been delayed 7 times. It's been changed 5 times. 4 times, 5 times. And it's because they have to make the game. They have to finish it. They got to put it out. And this is why I tell people, don't get this game when it comes out. Don't get this game when it comes out. Okay? If anything, do the Ubisoft Plus $14.99. Try it out if it's on there. I'm assuming it is. Okay? But this game is not going to be what it was promised until 12, 18, maybe even longer after that. They have to get this game out. They have to get this game out. Because it's an obligation, like Sarge just said. Right? It's an obligation to the game. They have to get this game out because they have to make money back for Singapore. Okay. This is a DOA for majority of the population of this game. Just be wary when you play this game. That's all. That says everything you need to know. Yeah. Not one moment of my time. Not one penny from my pocket. Don't care. Maybe they're going to do for the people who bought the day before. I just feel, look, anyone can do what they want with their money. I'm just putting information out there so people can have more information so they can make the right choice. Instead of just going, this looks fantastic. There's going to be problems with this game when it comes out. No game in the history of video games has been delayed 7 times. Change the game 4 to 5 times from the actual core gameplay of what it is, and come out flawless in any way, shape, or form. Hell, most of those games that I'm describing are done within 6 months and they close down. So we'll see. Did you guys see the backlash that what's his name? Christopher Judd. That's his name, right? Judd or Judge? The God of War voice actor. Judge. Okay, he's getting so much shit. Okay, he's getting so much shit because of the joke he created. Right? There's publications and there's not authors. The hell, I can't even think of it right now. Journalists. I couldn't remember journalists. Right? There's journalists out there that are completely like, I can't believe he said this, right? And then the actual developers are pushing back because Christopher Judge said what he said, right? And this is why society is falling as a whole. Okay, not only did Christopher Judge make fun of himself the entire time he was up on stage, but then he took a shot at Call of Duty, which I laughed. I was like, damn, that's a good one. Okay. Because he took a shot at Call of Duty campaign that was 3 to 4 hours long. Okay. And everyone was losing their mind. They're like, it's unprofessional. It's not cool. Shouldn't be doing this to other people. Okay. Shouldn't be doing it. And I'm like, you are the reason there's a problem in the world when you can't take a joke. Okay. You can't take a joke. To think that his 8-minute long speech, and then he makes a joke as, well, at least my thing wasn't as short as the Call of Duty campaign, which was like 3 hours long. Okay. And everyone takes offense to that. You're the problem. No, he wasn't wrong, Kyle. He wasn't wrong. And that's why it hurts. Because the truth hurts, right? Obviously, he didn't say the campaign was 8 minutes long. It was a joke saying that his speech was still longer than the Call of Duty campaign. And everyone's like, you shouldn't do that. You should. It's a joke. Settle down. Settle down. No, but here's the thing, though, Dave, that will happen. I guarantee you he will get blacklisted. Oh, I don't think he should apologize. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. But he will get blacklisted from certain companies. Or snowflakes. It's like the snow melting around. He said words. Better not apologize. Yeah, seriously. Unless you really think your campaign's less than 8 minutes long. I guess that would be factual then, wouldn't it? He did get backlash, yeah. And people are losing their minds on Twitter this weekend. Like, actual journalists wrote articles and tweets about this is disgraceful. This is so bad for the gaming. You don't make fun of other people in your industry. Since when? Who makes the rules? Right? How is it dishonorable that you're okay making fun of him making a speech last year that was 8 minutes long, Nobody had problems making fun of him with the 8-minute long speech. And now all of a sudden this year he makes a joke of that, my speech was still longer, right? It's self-deprecation. My speech was still longer than the Call of Duty campaign. Right. The fucking game is disgraceful that you had to pay $70. Right? When they told you it didn't take them a year to make. So basically they just made it $70 because that's the standard. That's the industry. Here, this is what he said.
What a card. Good evening, everybody. It is such a pleasure to be back here. I have such great memories of last year, Mr. Pacino, forgetting to thank my wife.
Like, they're literally making fun of him by playing the music to make him wrap up, right? This is how people don't understand writing and jokes. Okay?
Mother...
Right? Keely's literally saying do the outro music for him, even though he's a presenter. Right?
All right. I get it. I'm not gonna stand up here making long speeches. I'm gonna stick to the script. No 8-minute speech like last year. But fun fact, my speech was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign.
That's a good fucking joke. It's current and it's fantastic because he has a long speech and then the game is short. Okay?
What?
Now, he shouldn't have done that part at the end because he would have really sold it. That's a good fucking joke. Right? That's a good fucking joke. And if you don't think that's a good joke, you're a problem. If you think that's offensive in any way, shape, or form, leading up, context is everything, right? Leading up to that joke, he comes on stage, he starts talking, he starts making, like my speech last year, they start doing the outro music, he looks at the stage, says, you mother, right? Because he's like, you're still picking on me, right? And then he makes, my speech was actually longer than the Call of Duty campaign. And everyone's like, you're making fun of me. I can't believe you said that. Unbelievable. Idiots. Don't make fun of the devs. I guess it hurt him because it was true, right? That's the only possible explanation. It hurt him because it was true. Right, Travis. People have already been bashing Modern Warfare 3 up to that point. What's so different about this joke? Nothing. That's the point. It's exactly that. It's a joke. But people are so on edge. They're just like they're ready to jump on anything. Don't worry. The next Call of Duty campaign will be twice as long. No, it'll have 16. Instead of 16 minutes, it'll be the 16 times the detail. It'll be an hour and a half, 16 times more than what it is. I think the reaction is because it's somebody in the industry taking shots. It was a celebrity YouTuber. I bet it gets no attention. I don't give a shit, Reese, if it was a person that's in the industry. He's not a dev. What does it mean to be someone in the industry? Is he a dev? Did a dev come out and make fun of another dev? Not that I know of. Right? I can maybe see if Todd Howard came out or some other well-known, high-profile dev came out and took that shot at a competitor or whatever. But he's a voice actor. Voice actor. Right, Sarge. It's just ridiculous. It's like, who cares if even if he was a developer, he still has the right to say it because it's a joke. But I can see the pushback because one dev made fun of another dev, but he's a voice actor. He's an actor. An actor. He's an actor, just like Matthew McConaughey or Keanu Reeves or anybody else, right? He's an actor. I mean, I'm indifferent. I'm just guessing at the reason behind the it's because he works in the industry, right? That means that nobody can make jokes. Well, I'm a human. I'm a human. So that means I can't make another joke about a human because we're all humans, right? I can't make fun of anybody because I'm watching TV. They're watching TV as well. Can't make fun of anyone that's watching TV because we're all viewers of television. Can't make fun of anybody. Amazing. I just saw that when he was getting backlash. I was like, why? It's a good joke. It's a good joke. What about if he was a comedian? If he was a comedian, I don't think there would have been a problem. I don't think it would have been a problem, Kyle. But here's the thing. If it was a comedian on stage that made that joke, I don't think it would hit as hard. Because the difference is, unless you know that comedian is a gamer, right? The reason it hits so hard with him is because, one, he's a well-known character that plays, you know, the main character of God of War of Kratos, okay? And other characters as well. I think he played Black Panther as well in Marvel's Avengers and whatnot. But because he's a well-known guy in the video game space and he makes that joke, it's like, ooh. If it was just a comedian that never played video games and made that joke, it wouldn't hit as good. It was like a perfect joke. It was a perfect joke leading up to the whole thing. Because the joke wouldn't hit as hard because their speech wasn't long. You know what I mean? They're just coming out roasting people. It would have been a joke, but it wouldn't have been as good of a joke, in my opinion. They did not defend his long speech. The show lost its humanity. You know, you used to say, when the comedian got hung by the king, they could tell that the king was a tyrant. Lived in their trying times and jokes were taken seriously. Now, unfortunately. The reason it hits so hard is because they're idiots, whining or mad. He said he had a wife while all eternal virgins. I mean, I just don't get it. Jokes are jokes. And it was a perfect setup. Perfect setup. Nobody else that came out on that stage that night, if they made that joke, would have hit like it did. It was a perfect setup and a perfect delivery. I think the worst part about that whole thing is that he was like, oh, at the end because it would have hit much better if he didn't do that, personally. But I still think it was a fantastic joke. Well, the reason I'm bringing it up, Travis, I think it's a good joke. I have no problem with it. Yeah, it's perfect. It was a perfect joke. It's a perfect joke because of the lead up. Because of what happened last year. It's like an inside joke as well, right? It's a perfect joke. It's an insider joke for anyone that watched the Video Game Awards show last year, right? It's an inside joke for anyone that played or knows about the Call of Duty campaign. It's a great joke for the lead up to the delivery. It was just a really good joke. I wonder if he wrote it. Flute guy always steals the show. Yeah, he got up. He had like 15 flutes in that one song. I wonder if he did. I'm going to look that up. And I got to go soon because my parents are still in town. I'm going to hang out with them for the rest of the afternoon before they leave. That's 2020. Here we go. 2023. You say. Oh, they don't have. Let me go to last year's real fast just to see what they have. No, they don't have the. They don't have the cast and stuff like the writers or anyone. I didn't know if they had a writer to do the teleprompter and whatnot. Oh yeah, he was. I would assume they would have to. I would have to assume that they would bring him in on the joke, right? They probably didn't tell him they were going to play the play out music. That's why he's like, "You mother," right? While he was up there. Maybe he did it on the fly. And if he did it on the fly, even better. Even better. All right. So this morning we talked about the Lego Fortnite. Broke some records. Over 2 million people, 2.3 million people playing the game. It's a fun game mode. We'll probably play more. Tonight, I don't know if... Kuda Papa, if you're available, I don't know if you want to play some more Lord of the Rings. Let me know in Discord or whatnot, or in chat. We'll probably play some Lord of the Rings tonight. If not, maybe I'll jump back in to some Fortnite. We'll play something tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, for some more gaming news. Maybe we'll go over some trailers tomorrow. If no major stories are happening, maybe we'll go over some trailers. I want to look at that trailer from Hello Games. No light, fire, no firelight. What the hell was that survival game that they're coming out? That looked intriguing, right? Then we can look at the we could talk a little bit about Blade or whatnot. So we'll talk about that type of stuff tomorrow. Light, no fires. That's it. Right? That looked interesting. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member, hit that membership button for as little as $5. We do shows Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about 12 Eastern. We also do live shows, podcasts, gameplay. So do lots of different things on this show. So I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.